Disclaimer. This content may dramatize real events and include speculation. Viewer discretion is advised as details may not be fully verified. She's here with us now to share her experience. Natania, thank you so much for joining us. I can't begin to imagine everything you've lived through since 1999 and the emotions that must have come flooding back over the past few days. Right away, when she started talking, you could see Diddy paying close attention to every word she said. Just like those other guys. After Jennifer Lopez got dragged into the Diddy lawsuit, accused of being the one who smuggled the gun into that 1999 nightclub shooting where Diddy and JLo allegedly let rapper Shine take the blame and serve 10 years in prison, people started digging into her past. And now, some questions are being raised. I'm not sure if he was there at that moment, but I do know he was seen with them in London, Paris, and other places.
Law enforcement sources believe the feds will now expand their investigation into Diddy to include older criminal cases too. We already knew Diddy had been investigated over that awful incident in New York, but I didn't realize JLo might have been so involved. For someone who used to be Jenny from the block, things got way too heated, because based on what Cassie Ventura has accused, Jennifer Lopez may have been more than just Diddy's ex. She might have helped him out as a partner in crime. We're talking lies, cover-ups, and smuggling. And now it looks like she's gone into hiding. Since Diddy's legal problems started, JLo has hardly been seen in public. And we may finally know the reason why. Cassie has now testified, crying on the stand, that Diddy made her carry a loaded gun in public and used her like a pawn in his mess.
But this isn't just gossip. There's a deeper reason people believe JLo may have done something similar years ago, helping Diddy hide a crime that ended with an innocent man behind bars. So if Diddy goes down, who might go with him? JLo. Get ready, because this story is wild. Let's break it down. As many people already know, Cassie Ventura and Diddy had a long, painful, and disturbing relationship. She recently testified that Diddy once handed her a loaded gun before they went into a nightclub in Los Angeles. According to reports, she was crying as she told the whole story. You could feel the pain. While she was testifying, she kept getting emotional and had to wipe tears from her eyes as she explained everything. But that's just the beginning. Rodney Lil Jones filed a complaint claiming that back in 1999, Jennifer Lopez smuggled a gun into a New York City nightclub for Diddy. That same night, 3 people were shot, including a woman named Natania Reuben, who was hit in the face.
It sounds like ride or die, but this is more like ride and get locked up. The fact that D keeps using the women in his life to carry weapons is disturbing. Let's be real, JLo isn't innocent here. This isn't just about being at the wrong place at the wrong time. It looks like she played an active role. As we mentioned earlier, there seems to be a lot of confusion or misinformation about what actually happened in that trial. Who was blamed and who wasn't. I'd really like to hear your take, especially what you wish people truly understood about that trial, that maybe they still don't. Even on the night everything happened, you can tell something was off. If you look at their mugshots, only Shine has a real one. Puffy's mugshot shows him standing in front of a plain concrete wall. JLo's picture? She's in front of a bulletin board wearing old t-shirts.
Let's think about this. Do you honestly believe Puffy and JLo went out on Christmas wearing beat-up old shirts? No way. There was clearly a plan to hide what they were actually wearing that night, to trick people and mess with their memories. But it didn't fool everyone. Don't forget, JLo identified Shine as the shooter that night. That came straight from Diddy's own driver's testimony. So, if that's true, it means she not only brought the gun, but may have helped Diddy set up Shine, who ended up serving a long prison sentence for something he possibly didn't do. In case you didn't know, Shine has been speaking out for years, saying Diddy betrayed him and was never a real friend. And you know what? Gene Deal, the former head of security for Bad Boy, said Diddy once told her he hated Shine. So maybe this whole frame-up idea isn't so crazy after all. That's the truth. Now, let me ask you something. I saw a trailer for a documentary about Shine. How did you end up being part of that film? Well, I was there for the entire trial with Shine and Puffy. Puff said to me, "I hate that dude." He told me that while they were both on trial. Everyone already knows Shine got thrown under the bus, but it gets even darker. Diddy supposedly picked his own witnesses for the 1999 trial. He allegedly rigged the whole thing from the start. And it gets worse. Sources claim JLo helped him. They say she worked behind the scenes with Diddy to ruin Shine, teaching the witnesses exactly what to say. And listen to this. Some even say jurors were paid off. That young lady, she said Puff was the shooter. But according to what Wolf told me, he didn't talk about it much because he cared a lot for Shine. After the shooting, Diddy and JLo acted like nothing happened.
Not long after, Diddy dumped J-Lo like she meant nothing to him. But let's be honest, they both got exactly what they wanted. I'm not sure if he was at that exact moment, but I know he'd been seen with them in places like London and Paris. Now you might be wondering, why didn't J-Lo testify during all that chaos? Wasn't she there the night of the shooting? Here's where it gets crazy. J-Lo and Diddy reportedly got married in secret around the same time as the 1999 shooting. That's according to Jaguar Wright, a person known for leaking celeb secrets. And no, it wasn't out of love. Jaguar says it was all part of a plan. You see, if J-Lo was legally married to Diddy, she couldn't be forced to testify against him. It's a legal trick people in Hollywood use all the time to protect each other. And it worked. Diddy kept his secrets locked up, tighter than Fort Knox. J-Lo didn't have to step foot in that courtroom, and her name stayed clean. Sean was responsible for a lot of what happened, and Puff straight up told me, "I hate that guy." That was while they were both on trial. Wait, you never told me that part, man. Did you see how Flex went off, calling Shine a snitch? Well, I think Funkmaster Flex had every right to speak up. He probably knows more than most people do. Even though their marriage was never officially confirmed, Jaguar says it really happened. And according to some reports, J-Lo even showed up to a few of Diddy's wild freak parties. In one of the legal complaints, a well-known female celebrity was said to have watched one of these parties, where a 13-year-old girl was forced to attend. Now let's be clear, we're not saying J-Lo is that celebrity. Still, it's getting harder to ignore how her name keeps popping up in court records, lawsuits, and even in old witness statements.
But wait, there's more. That 13-year-old wasn't the only victim. A woman named Misha also came forward with a horrifying story. She said that JLo wasn't just nearby. She was right there, front and center, while Diddy allegedly put her through some terrifying experiences at one of those freak parties. According to Misha, during the whole incident, she made eye contact with JLo. And what did JLo do? Nothing. She didn't speak, didn't act. She just stared. Misha said he did what he did to me. And when it was time for Jennifer Lopez, she was standing there with a man who looked disgusted. But still, no one helped me. She said JLo stabbed her with a glass. And even though her eyes stayed wide open the whole time, nobody saved her. If JLo really stood by and watched all that happen, she's got a lot of explaining to do. And if you thought things couldn't get any worse, think again. Doc.
This isn't the first time JLo's name has been tied to these creepy, twisted groups. Years ago, her ex-husband Ojani Noah dropped some shocking details of his own. Ojani claimed JLo was deeply involved in those same wild activities. Not just showing up, but actively participating. He even said she should be questioned about the secret sex tapes connected to Diddy and his inner circle. You know, the ones that always come up when people mention hidden cameras and baby oil. He didn't hold back. He claimed JLo acts one way in public, but behind closed doors, she's a completely different person. He said flat out she knew exactly what went down at those parties and didn't seem to care at all. Now yes, exes can sometimes talk out of bitterness. Let's not lie. But let's also be real. This doesn't sound like some angry ex trying to get revenge for cheating. When you start connecting the dots, Ojanis' claims, Misha's story, Cassie's emotional testimony, and all the lawsuits piling up, it starts to look like JLo wasn't just watching from the sidelines. And here's the cherry on top of this messy situation. In 2024, 2 law enforcement sources told the New York Post that as part of the bigger federal investigation into Diddy, the 1999 nightclub shooting was going to be reopened. If that happens, and JLo's name is linked to what went down, she might end up in court too. This doesn't surprise anyone online. One person on social media put it perfectly. Everybody knew JLo was the one holding that for him. Yes, she's a talented singer, but let's be honest, her fame has always seemed to outshine her actual talent. And now, the real reason for her rise might finally be coming to light. But buckle up, because this is where things really go off the rails.
Sui said in an interview that it wasn't just distance or personal problems that ruined JLo and Ben Affleck's marriage. He claimed that during one of those freak parties, the FBI showed Ben a tape of JLo and Diddy. Now picture that. Ben Affleck sitting down, thinking he's about to see legal evidence, and instead, he's shown a video of his wife at one of Diddy's twisted parties. After that, he reportedly couldn't even look at her the same way. And who could blame him? We've got the scoop. Did you hear what Suge Knight said? He thinks the real reason Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck split up was because there are tapes from Diddy's mansion showing JLo in compromising situations. And the FBI might have sent those tapes to Ben. Remember, Ben Affleck is a white man in America. He's well respected and widely loved. They say he's a media darling, meaning people really admire him. And this isn't some old rumor from a tabloid in 2013.
Just look at the timeline. Right after the federal raid on Diddy's homes, things between JLo and Ben started to fall apart fast. They stopped being seen together. JLo went back to walking red carpets alone. Their body language was off. And now they're no longer married. There's more to this than we've been told. For years, JLo kept a classy and polished image for the press. But these court records tell a totally different story. This isn't a rom-com anymore, not if even half of these claims are true. This is starting to look like a criminal case. And speaking of courtroom chaos, it's really no surprise that JLo has pretty much vanished from the spotlight lately, especially with everything Cassie has been saying about Diddy. So where exactly is JLo hiding? Could it be because of Cassie's testimony? Things have gotten darker with every passing day.
Cassie testified that Diddy tried to control every part of her life. He paid for her phone, her house, her car, and would take it all away just to punish her. He wanted complete control over her life. She said in court that he controlled everything, even what she wore and what she worked on. That control turned violent. And by violent, I mean real physical abuse. Cassie broke down in court, saying Diddy used to kick her, drag her, knock her to the floor, and hit her in the head. She described having black eyes, swollen lips, and actual bruises and bumps on her forehead. What started as mental control became something terrifying. And then the prosecutors got involved, digging into those freak parties. Cassie testified that within the first year of dating Diddy, he introduced her to those wild and disturbing events. He would hire strippers and male escorts to sleep with her while he watched.
And these weren't one-time things. Some of those events lasted for up to 4 days. She said the whole thing drained her so much that she needed time to recover from the drugs and the physical toll. Cassie said at first she only did it to please Diddy, but over time, it made her feel disgusted with herself. She told the court, "I felt horrible about myself." As she broke down in tears, "I felt worthless." Cassie also said she used all kinds of drugs, ketamine, ecstasy, weed, and more, just to make it through those experiences. She said the drugs helped her mentally disconnect from what was really going on. She said she didn't even want to have sex with these random men. But Diddy made it happen. He planned it all. He told her to find these men, strippers, escorts, dancers, and then paid them between $1,500 and $6,000, depending on how well they performed. According to her, they found these men on Craigslist and through stripper services.
One of them, Daniel Phillip, even testified in court. They showed the jury photos of these men. She said Diddy was the one who chose everything, from the lighting in the room to the clothes she wore, to how she should act during the sex. And just to be clear, what exactly is a freak party? Cassie said she learned about them from Diddy about a year after they started dating. He told her it was about voyeurism, him watching her have sex with other people. She said she went along with it because she was only 21 or 22 at the time, and she didn't know any better. She just wanted to make Diddy happy. And at one point, she even said she looked forward to those freak parties. Why did Cassie say she enjoyed them? When the prosecutors asked her, "Did you ever like those parties?" Cassie choked up and said, "I did, but only because it meant I got to spend time alone with Diddy."
And that brings JLo back into the picture. You can't really say she didn't know about this pattern. After all, she dated Diddy first. She was there when he was at his worst. She saw that dark side of him. And that's why people say she's scared to be called as a witness. Some claim she's been dodging a subpoena like it's the plague. There are even rumors that she ran off to a country with no extradition treaty, just in case things got worse and she got pulled into the case. Because let's be real, Diddy looks like he's going down. The evidence against him keeps piling up. And if the feds start looking closely at who was present during these events, JLo might not be far behind. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think JLo could be the next big name dragged into Diddy's scandal? Was she helping him all along, or just caught in the middle of it all?
Let us know in the comments. This story is wild. Don't hold back. And make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because at this point, it's anyone's guess who's going down next in the Diddy case.